just like
theme park. They have a roller coaster. You've probably been on the roller coaster. They have a shopping mall, and attached to the malls, uh, they have like people's houses, people's apartments, um, people you may know are there, people you may not know are there. When you walk into when you have a dream and you're like, it was like my house, but it wasn't my house, but it was my house, but it was right. Like it's that weird little in between. Um, but the thing is, we've all kind of seen the same thing as far as like what we have seen. As far as like physically, like in my mind, I know what the roller coaster looks like. But if I were to describe what the roller coaster looked like, you would probably make up your own picture of the own roller coaster you have in your mind, right? So, but like the thing is, it's like, oh, and the layout is pretty much the same, right? Um, like the theme park is in front of the mall, right? And then there's like all kinds of stuff around it, like shops, like I said, shops, apartments, houses, pools. But the thing that I just find interesting is, this is something that I did end up seeing on social media, is we all have that shared experience. What if it isn't a dream that we are in? What if experiencing mall world has something to do with, the title of what we're discussing here today? Um, just because so many people have had this, so many people know the exact same layout, so many people have seen the exact same thing, and so many people have had the like same experiences within the same location, right? Like, what if it is like you are, and I don't want to use the word abducted because it sounds like so scary or whatever, but it's like, what if in your sleep you were taken to this place? Um, you know, without without your free will, right? But again, I don't know. It just, I just find it really, really odd that a lot of people have experienced the same thing, seen the same things. Um, and can it really be like an actual dream place that we all visit? Like, what are the odds? Like, what are the odds of us all having the exact same dream? I'm sorry. What are the odds of us going to the exact same place to have our own version of whatever dream that we have? Like, that's kind of intense. That's kind of crazy, right? If you guys know what Mall World is, can you like please grab a mic, because I've talked to some people about it. Some people have seen it, some people haven't, but if you have been to Mall World, can you please grab a mic and come up?
Let's see. Maybe JJ has. What's going on, JJ?
Hola. So I was out the ranch, just about 45 miles from Del Rio, town called Rock Springs. It's a 5,000 acre ranch. And one night I saw a really bright light coming through the window. And I thought it was maybe a police helicopter looking for, Mexicans crossing the border or something. So I went out there trying to see what was going on, but I didn't hear a helicopter. It was a really bright light. Next thing I know, I'm in this weird area um, with a whole bunch of people around, and Bob was trying to anal probe me, and then I woke up. So I don't know if that's small world, but it kind of sucked. So I went out there trying to see what was going on, but I didn't hear a
Just,
helicopter. It was a
well,
really
what
bright
does the
light.
room
Next
look
thing I
like? It
know,
might be where
I'm
you
in
want a
this
cold
weird
table.
area
I was. Were you there?
with
Yeah,
a whole bunch of
see?
people
Oh, I
around,
was
and
there. I
Bob
was
was
next
trying
to
to
you.
anal probe me, and then I
What?
woke up. So
I
I don't
want to
know if
know who
that's small
Bob is.
world,
You
See,
said
like,
Bob was
but
like,
it
trying to.
kind of sucked.
Yeah,
like,
he
how did I
said
know
his name
that,
was.
JJ?
He said his name was Bob. I think it stood for
Well, what
battery
does the room
operated
look like? It
boyfriend.
might be where you
I'm
want
in
a
this
cold
weird
table.
area
I was.
with
Were
a
you
whole bunch of
there?
Yeah,
people
I
see?
got in
around, and
Oh, I
trouble.
Bob
was
was
I
there. I
trying
was
got
to
next to you.
anal probe me, and then I
what?
woke up.
Fuck.
I
I
want
don't
to
know
know
if
who
that's small
Bob is.
world,
You
See,
said
but
like,
Bob was
like,
it
trying
kind
to.
of
I
sucked.
couldn't
So
yeah,
like,
he
how did I
said
know
his
that,
name was.
JJ?
he
He said
said
his name was
Okay.
Bob. I think it stood for
Where
Well, what
battery
does the room
operated
look
where's
like?
the
It
C
boyfriend.
come
might be
from?
where you want a cold table.
area
Where's the
with
what
a
come
whole bunch
from?
of
I
people
got in
around, and
trouble.
Bob was
You
trying to
said
anal probe
battery
me,
control
and then I
boyfriend?
woke up. No, battery operated boyfriend Bob.
Oh, battery operated. Oh, that's so funny. Here, let me laugh for you.
He said his name was
Okay,
Bob. I think it stood for
where
battery operated
where's the
boyfriend.
C come from?
Oh
Where's the
boy, that's
where's
too
the
funny.
what come from?
We have
You said
royalty.
battery control
You know what Goose
boyfriend.
is talking about?
No, battery operated boyfriend
So,
Bob.
Battery
greetings, tribe.
operated. Oh, that's so
Hope
funny.
everyone's
Here,
doing
let me
well.
laugh for you.
I can say that, yeah, I've never, I didn't know they called it Mall World
Where's the
though.
C
I,
come
I, I
from?
don't know. I've never heard of the actual phrase, so
Oh
that
boy,
is
that's
very
Where's
too
the
funny.
interesting.
what
And I
come
actually
from?
just
We
looked
have
at on
You said
YouTube to see how many
battery
people were
control
talking about it, and
boyfriend.
there's actually
No,
quite a few
battery
clips
operated
over here.
boyfriend Bob.
But what I can say is everything is on ley lines. So because most people are sleeping, like in terms of just like spiritual activation, and maybe eating a little bit too much dense food sometimes, that energy frequency of that the masses, we'll just label it that, could lead the people that are next to ley lines very easily to dream into that, because there's principalities or these different types of dominions, and like where's that one corrupted area. Usually schools will have a lot of demons or any type of lower dimensional entities that are trying to control maybe town halls, city centers. I mean, even some churches, believe it or not, that get corrupted. So these types of areas, they get taken over by however it happens. Sometimes it's in someone's bloodline that gets just to a high position, and all of a sudden, they're affected. But I just would like to say yes. This is sounds pretty much where what the thin veil. It's all real as much as you can see through it and vibrate on that vibration of truth. Once you peek through it, open Pandora's box, no looking back. So I don't doubt it at all. I just would like to say yes.
That probe was
I just would like
vibrating,
to say
so
yes. Pretty
I
much
know I understand what you mean about the
pretty much
vibrating.
what it's all real as much as you can see. It's all real as much as you can see through it and vibrate on that. Peek
Yeah, I
through
think
it,
we're talking
open
about the wrong
Pandora's box,
Saturday night there, JJ.
open Pandora's box.
Okay,
I don't doubt it
maybe
at all. I don't doubt it at all.
that probe was
I just would like
vibrating,
to say
so
yes.
I understand
We got
I
Miss Kitty.
understand what you mean about the
What's going
vibrating.
on, Miss
Hello,
Kitty?
hello. I am very excited to be here. I was in another space and then I got invited to a UFO backcheck and then I saw this space specifically and I got really excited. I was just asking Jesus today, I was like, could you just link me up with some people that kind of think the way that I do? And then just everything just laid out the way that it did here. It's just kind of exciting. I have had a roller coaster dream, but it wasn't reoccurring, but I think it was lucid because I was laying the track as I was going along. I was deciding where the track would go, but it was kind of like carnival buildings. It was like shops that I was building around it, and there were like people in there, and they were scared, and I wasn't because I was in control. It's just a really weird dream. Going back to what that guy was saying earlier about the sky phenomenon and trying to decide what it is, and I said this in the space that I just left, that I think it's multiple things. It's not this or that. We need to start thinking this and this and this. We have, spiritual beings that are coming into our dimension. We might have some some actual real beings coming from another dimension. I don't know. But we have reverse engineered technology. We have advanced crafts. And we might even have some very old tech from the original designers because I kind of lean towards the hollow earth sort of thing. But I do separate what's happening in the sky from what's happening on the ground. The cryptoids, the Bigfoots, the skinwalkers, those types of things are a completely separate phenomenon from what's going on in the UFO, but they get wrapped up into the same conversation. We have yet to see any of these cryptoids come out of any of the things that are coming from the sky. There's never been a craft that lands that that people are taking photos of, that something comes out of it. I think these are two separate phenomena. But anyways, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I did join your group, and I'm really excited to be here. Thank you. We have yet come out of any of the cryptoids come
Oh,
out of
thank you.
any of the
Thank
things.
you
There's
for
never been
providing all the information that you've experienced. For those down below, we're waiting on Dr. Brandenburg. Has Dr. Brandenburg been here? He believes these things are physical, they are from other planets.
And I'm really excited to be
And
here.
we lost him. I don't know if he's updated his app or what's going on. But he was in here and then he dropped out. I can't talk to him. I don't have my other device to call him on, and I end up plugging in the space. But we're gonna go to AIM. AIM at our hand up next, and we'll go to JT.
Yeah, really quick. Yeah, I know that Dr. Brandenburg's coming up, but I did want to share. I didn't know anything was called Mall World, but you mentioned like an amusement park in front of like a mall, like Goose did, and I actually wrote down a
We're gonna go
dream
to AIM.
that I
We're gonna
had.
go
It's an
to
I just
AIM. AIM
checked
at our
to
hand
see
up
if
next.
I did because I all of a sudden that dream just came to mind, and it was August. I wrote it down August 14th, 2024. And it says I wrote in the title dream 11:30 p.m. yesterday, so I must have woken up after it. My family and I were at a theme park, and I knew or acted familiar toward the people running it. Toward the end of the dream, I was in a panic because one of the rides, which was a roller coaster, was one where you lay down. And on the place where we were to lay down was dead people. So we were like supposed to lay on top of dead people with their skin off. Um, the rows of the ride were in threes. The front row, the middle car was of a child, and the lips were left on the body, and it was smiling. I felt fear and anxiety and was going to tell everybody we needed to leave the theme park, but I was worried that everyone wouldn't listen. And then I looked down at my phone, and my son has actually type 1 diabetes. So I looked at his Dexcom thing, and it said his like blood sugar was at 20. I felt a deeper panic and woke up. And it says I rebuked the devil, but yeah, that was a few years ago. But yeah, weird.
I do want to point out real quick that for those of you that play maybe like Call of Duty games, maybe Fortnite and things like this, I think they sometimes use the mall world as the map. I do want to
I've
point
never
out real
heard of
quick.
that.
I do want to point out real quick that for those of you that play maybe like for those of you that play games, maybe Call
Goose,
of
do you
Duty
play Fortnite?
games, maybe Fortnite and things like this. I think they sometimes use. I
I do
think they
not.
sometimes use the
Um,
mall
I do
world
not. The
as
last
the
thing I
mall
played was
world
probably Call
as
of
the
Duty.
map. I do
But
want to
the
point
thing
out real
is like,
quick
dude, I don't like theme
that
parks. Like, I have never
for
gone
those of
to
you
a
that
theme
play
park.
maybe
I
like
don't
Call
Goose,
of
like
do you
roller
Duty
play
coasters.
games,
Fortnite?
I don't
Goose,
like
do you
any of
play
that. So the
Fortnite?
fact that like I'm dreaming
and
about
things
it
like
kind of
this.
just,
I
and I
think they
never pay
sometimes
like
use
really like, like it doesn't, it's
the
like,
mall
it
world
doesn't matter to
as
me.
the
Like
map.
if people are like, oh, we're going to Six Flags. I'm like, oh, enjoy. Like it doesn't bug me. I don't feel like this feeling of missing out or anything like that. So it's not like it's something that's consistently in my head that I might just have a dream about because this isn't things that I think about. So I also find that really, really weird because you'll tend to like if something's like heavy on your mind or something like you'll tend to have dreams about it, right? But this is something that like I don't think I just wake up here. I just wake up there, you know? So I don't know what it could be. Was the theme park on grass?
Yes.
What in the hell? See what I'm saying, dude? Like something weird, dude. Something weird.
Do you want it to stop?
I don't know what it could be. No, I would, dude. I wish I could subscribe to this shit, man. Like honestly, I really wish I could. Like, I wish I could just like pay a subscription and go like once or two times, 3 times a week. It's scary for me because like every time I ride the roller coaster, I end up
Do you want it to
like I was
stop?
like,
Do you want it to
okay,
stop?
it got to a point where I was like, this fucking place again, right? So let me get on this damn roller coaster because the only way I can get inside of Mall World is if I ride the roller coaster. So I got on the roller coaster and I'm like, this isn't even scary anymore. This is stupid. And then I look down the track and there's like like I'm at the highest point of the roller coaster and a piece of the track is missing. And I'm like, oh, there, now I'm fucking scared. There it is. Now I'm fucking terrified. So I get to that part and then I just fall. I fall. Obviously like to my death, right? Because I'm at the very top. But before I hit the ground, I wake up and I'm like, yo, that was wasn't even intense. But dude, maybe guy is onto something with that, right? Like, because just so you guys know, like this place has already been mapped out by a lot of people. I'll see if I can find the picture of like the whole map of Mall World and see if I can post it. Maybe you guys can post it to the top. But yeah, no, this is absolutely a place. And if it's a map to a video game, I have no idea, but that would be a super cool twist.
No, yo, I remember when you talked about it in Come Face Your Fears. I went on a very like interesting rabbit hole on Reddit. So, yo, I kind of feel like all of you guys are getting abducted by the fun aliens. Like, I feel like the aliens that are abducting you guys are taking you guys to the mall and having you guys ride their roller coasters.
The last time I was there, guy, I felt like I was a pet. I didn't feel like I was a human there. I felt like,
Yeah, like you were Pinocchio in that one island.
Hey guys, do you still have Dr. Brandenburg's link?
I do. You want me to hit him up, man?
Yeah, he's having trouble with his mic on PC again.
All right, I'll hit him up. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Thanks, Steve.
It's so nice. You got nice friends.
I do. You want me to hit him up, man? I do. You want me to hit him up?
We're more than just friends. We're business partners. Everybody, chill.
Yeah, good guys, my space boo. No one knows
So
guys,
nice.
my space boo.
You got nice friends. You got nice friends.
Did we lost JT. JT was up. Go ahead, Sarah Beth.
We're more than just friends.
Hey guys, yeah, I just was listening to Amy, was telling her dream, talking about the amusement park and stuff, and I've had kind of a similar experience. My dream though was really interesting. It was like a regular dream at first, and then I gained lucidity in the dream, and I started floating around, and next thing I knew, I was at like a music festival. It was kind of like a Burning Man vibe, like this big, huge music festival, but it was like it wasn't in the desert. It was like more of like in the woods, like it was grassy and there were trees and stuff. So maybe a little bit more like an electric forest type of vibe. But it was really interesting because I actually was able to link up with the soul of my passed away boyfriend. He passed away in 2024. And it had been like a year since he had died when I had this dream. And it was just really cool because he and I like linked up at the festival, and we ended up going and stage hopping and, seeing different bands play and stuff. And it was just really cool because like he had told me what he had been up to, and like his brother had died before him. So he told me that he had found his brother and that like everything was okay. And it was really interesting to me because like you could tell he had aged, like his hair and his beard had gotten longer in my dream and stuff. And I don't know, it was really, really a very vivid experience. And when I woke up the next day, like I felt like really like at peace and like just kind of like healed. Like it was something that I think I really needed to have experienced. And a few days later, I was watching one of my favorite podcasts, and she's a like channeler, and it was when the two of my favorite streamers actually linked up and did like an interview together, and both of them had the same experience, and they were talking about an astral Burning Man festival. Like it's in the lower 4D, and it's essentially where like our ancestors and our loved ones who've passed away, they can lower their frequency to meet us, and we can raise ours, and then we like meet in the middle. But it was really kind of cool, and yeah, a lot of people who, have these kinds of experiences talk about meeting deceased loved ones and stuff. And so I just thought that that was really cool, and I wanted to share. So thanks for reading your dream journal, Amy. That was cool. But it was really cool.
Thank you, Sarah Beth. Thank you for sharing. Now we're going to go to you all ladies. Prepare yourselves. The doom of doom. Doom daddy.
Hey, what's up, Mav?
Thanks for reading that journal.
Your
Thanks for
spaces are getting
reading
really
your dream
popular,
journal.
and
You said it was
some
Bob. I
people
think it stood
some
for
people
battery
are
operated voice
stealing my
recognition.
tricks. They're trying to rage bait me. Where's JT? Is JT in the space? Did you see what JT tried to do? He made a post and he said like Mav's spaces are so much better. He has production value. He's making you look like shit. It's popping off. People, there's a cabal, Mavs. There's a war for the UFO microphone, and people will resort to anything to try to bring down the great gods. But you and I are friends, and with Brandenburg, does Goose know not to give up with him? Like you can't let Brandenburg say like I have a bad feeling about this. You just need to give him like a Tony Robbins pep talk. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just got to do Zoom, phone call, TikTok, Skype, ICQ. Do you know what I mean? Like you just do everything to try to get him to the space bar. You can't let Brandenburg say like you can't let Brandenburg.
No, he wanted to be here. He called me yesterday. I missed a call. I called him today. And I'm like, what's going on, Doc? He goes, what space you having tonight? I said, aliens, demons. I mean, angels, demons, and aliens. He goes, ooh, I went in on that.
Really?
So he was all.
So
Yeah.
what's the holdup? He just can't get the mic to work.
He can't get the mic on his computer yesterday. He did have issues.
Oh, we got Guy back. I don't want to hold anything up. You want to switch to him? I'm just here to talk shit.
No. Been on Goose.
Oh, that's see, I'm hallucinating. Do you see what the pole shift is doing? I'm looking at Guy's thing and I'm seeing Goose. Do you see this? I might be gone after today. Like the aliens have me. Like I might get abducted today. I want to say hi to some people. Obviously, all the people I already know in the space, but we've got some new people. We've got Stephanie B from the quantum economics people. Steph, can you do me a favor? Can you infiltrate yourself? Can you slide into the DMs of Spice and Matt and the other Matt Hatter? Can you tell them? Can you tell those fuckers to follow us back into the space? Matt Hatter said he'd try to make it back and follow us in here. Hello to everybody else, of course. I love all of you. I'm super excited for Brandon Bomber. Yeah. What do you know if he has any news to report, Mav?
His news was an article, a post he put out the other day, that he's Christian and his God doesn't need to fly in spaceships to come to Earth.
Oh my God, he's on the love and lighter kick. You can't let him. You know what? Sometimes I think this happened with Jason Sands. All of a sudden, Jason Sands, we couldn't bring him back up, and I had to make a blood sacrifice. And I kicked all of the speakers off of my panel. But you might just need to do one. You might just need to be like royalty. Oh my God, sorry. We're gonna have to drop you down. The crystals are getting in the way. We can't have Brandenburg get on this love and lighter train and be like, oh, everything is going to be fine.
I volunteer royalty as tribute.
I think
On the sacrifice? Fine.
Thank you so much, royalty. It's no, I'm joking. But honestly, that did work. I had a feeling that because I hadn't opened up the panel yet, I had a feeling that some motherfucker had an implant and was electronically preventing Jason Sands from coming back up. And I did what God did. I did the purge. I said, you bad people having sex with the Nephilim and everything. And then Jason Sands was able to come up. So I'm not genuinely, none of this here is spiritual or financial advice. I'm not genuinely in favor of blood ritualistic sacrifices. But usually some sort of sacrifice is necessary to get Brandon of one kind or another.
That's true. I was going to ask you about the mall, the Goose is in here, and he'll be like, oh man, yo, bro, why did you ask Doomer about the mall when I wasn't in the space. So I'm not going to ask you about the mall. But
But
royalty, yo, I got to remember royalty. He does provide crystals, sells crystals. I can't guarantee you seriously that they work. But if he does talk about his crystals in the space, I think Doomer, didn't he say I get 5% on all sales?
Well,
Something
I
like
mean,
that?
it depends on which kind. He does sell second-hand anal bead crystals, and those I believe the MLM marketing is a higher percentage, right? So if they're third and fourth hand anal crystals, like your percentage just goes up from there.
I get 5%. Didn't he say
Yo, I want to know like
5% on all sales?
where does he grow these crystals?
We don't
Royalty, I
we
will
don't want to know.
totally buy from you a massive quantity of black tourmaline because I threatened to use black tourmaline to zap Doomer's devices if he ever brought up the Divine Sisterhood ever
Yo,
again.
I want to know like
What the
yo,
fuck
I
is
want to
going
know
on
where
here?
does he grow
Well,
these
to be
crystals?
fair, I do
Where
get
does he grow
threatened
these
by
crystals?
one to three crystal bitches every
Royalty,
single day.
I will
This is a regular
totally
occurrence.
buy from you a black massive
Doomer,
quantity
I'm gonna
of
have to mute
black
you.
to use black
Andrew
tourmaline
wants to
to
buy
zap his black
100 black
tourmaline if he
crystals, and
ever
I get
brought Doomer's
5% of the sale,
devices
bro. Stop trying to
or
talk
the
her out of
Divine
it.
Sisterhood ever again.
Is this the thing,
I
Brandenburg, that wrote Cosmic Jesus? Because I actually have that book.
by one to three crystal bitches
Oh,
every single
I,
day. This is a
I
regular
don't
occurrence.
think so. Did Brandenburg write a book called
Doomer, I'm
Cosmic
gonna have
Genius?
Andrew wants to
Jesus?
buy 100 black crystals. I don't believe
I think we're
so. This
talking about
is a
somebody else.
Okay, just checking. I didn't know. Is this the thing,
This is Dr.
Jesus? I
Brandenburg,
actually have that
plasma
book.
physicist.
I actually have that
Worked with
book.
NASA, worked with JPL, and is now working with I can't discuss. But if it works, it's going to change the world. That's all I can
Wait,
tell
he's
you.
employed again with a
Just
company, a
checking.
space
I didn't know. Just
space
checking.
magic company.
Is this the thing?
Yes, he is.
Oh, good for him. I will be very interested to hear what he has to say about Avi Loeb's recent statement that, we know about that there were lakes and oceans and whatnot
Wait,
on
he's
Mars. And
employed
then he went on to say
wait,
maybe
he's
we all
employed
came from
again
Mars.
with a company.
Meanwhile, also saying he thinks the
Yes, he
objects on the moon are
is.
just camera
Yes,
art.
he
I will be
is.
very interested. That was terrible. I will be very interested to hear what he has to
I
say
know
about
Dr.
Avi
Brandenburg will
Loeb's
not talk about the
recent
moon,
statement that
but he'll go
there were
deep
lakes and
into
oceans and
what's
whatnot
going
on
on
Mars.
with Mars.
Oceans and whatnot on Mars.
And he did say, yeah, there's an ancient civilization there. He was in that documentary. I forget what gentleman's name, Brian. I can't think of his last name off the top of my head.
If you do want to experience Brandenburg sweating lunar bullets while I grill him like an intelligence asset, tune in to Matt's previous space, where you will hear the longest pause ever when I ask him questions, and to just leave a long pause at the end.
And I will do Brandenburg the honor of showing that I actually pay attention when he talks. The civilization was a Bronze Age level civilization on Mars 220 million years ago.
Yes, absolutely. There's artifacts there.
I will do
There is
Brandon
life
honor of
there.
showing Brandenburg the honor
Not
of
like
showing that I
us.
the
Well,
civilization
we don't
was
know,
a
but
bronze
he
civilization
never
was
claims
a
that. But there
bronze
is
civilization
microbe
on
life there.
levels
We've known about it for I think like
200
40 years or so.
humanoid. Yes, I forgot to say specifically humanoid.
Yes, absolutely. There's artifacts. Yes, humanoid. There was humanoid life there that was had some type of catastrophic event or some type of thermonuclear device. Not exactly sure what type of device or who was involved with it, but he believes that that's what wiped out. That's what wiped away the atmosphere of Mars.
Paul
And I have
Bradley, he
joked
said that he believes there were two, and he is fairly certain that they came from the sky.
Yes. I did joke around with him though, Andrew. I was like, what if we go to Mars? Elon's all excited. We finally get to Mars. And there's a tablet that said, yo, Mars is dead. We went to Earth. What a disappointment that would be.
Steve Quayle proposed that Rahab was a planet that's mentioned in the Bible that was destroyed. That's the Bode's Law and Roche's Limit point to a planet that's missing, and in its place there's an asteroid field. And then when that was destroyed, it wiped out Venus, Mars, Moon, and the Earth. And this happened pre-Genesis 1. Steve Quayle proposed that Rahab was a planet that's mentioned in the Bible.
We did discuss that in the space when we were talking about if there was some type of technologically advanced civilization that took Mars out with thermonuclear devices. What if there was a war between another planet, and they attacked each other, and that planet was completely destroyed and became an asteroid belt.
It's like Star
Yeah, I
Wars
mean,
in reverse.
that's what a lot of people believe. I can't remember his name, but there's some astronomer who calculated the the location of planets based on other planets that already we knew in our solar system, based on the size and the distance, the matter found in the asteroid belt, and where the asteroid belt is fell right where that other planet would have been, he calculated. So there's I think that asteroid belt is the debris of a planet that we just completely, ninja bladed. Whatever was done to it, I think that's that planet, right? Like the hilarity when people think humans are the most aggressive, intelligent species out here is that our entire solar system has trauma from warfare from another intelligent species. The color of Mars itself is the result of oxidation, right? So all the oxygen that used to be on Mars oxidized as a result of some thermonuclear process, giving it its rusty orange color. So, the only way you can interpret both the missing oxygen and the color of Mars is a thermonuclear event, right? To be at
Taylor,
that scale.
I just discovered something, and you are going to love this. Because it occurred to me that Dr. Brandenburg said this happened 220 million years ago. And I thought, well, that's measured up with Earth time. Maybe Mars has a different time. So I asked Grok to calculate what is a Mars year? And it's like 1.88 or something compared to Earth years. So I said, okay, so 220, well, billion, 220 billion Earth years would be how many Mars years? And it said 117 billion years.
Wait, explain
In
that.
other
Explain that
words,
logic to me again. And wasn't it
I said,
million? Aren't
okay,
we talking
so,
million? Or are you
oh,
talking
well,
because the
actually,
universe is only 13.8 billion years old? So Mars would have to be
million.
a
I'm sorry.
really old
You're right. Million.
effort.
Yeah. So it was million.
Are
So
you were trying to trick me, weren't you?
220
Answer.
million Earth
Wait,
years
explain that.
equals
Wait,
only
explain that. Explain that logic to me
117
again. Wasn't
million
it million?
Mars years. So it's essentially like half. And that's interesting because that means that people on Mars have their distance from their own event is much shorter than ours from that event. And that's really interesting.
Well, also, I mean, I don't. My suspicion is that the hybridized part of the human genome that is not from Earth is likely from another solar system. That's my suspicion.
You didn't catch that
But
number 17?
say that again. Well, also, my suspicion is we're the hybridized part of us that's not from Earth is likely from another solar system. But we all know that we have back problems, and whatever planet that part of our genome hailed from was likely one of lower gravitational pull or lower gravity. Mars' gravity is lower. So maybe there's something Martian about us. You know what I mean? Or maybe it was a different planet that wasn't Mars. Um, yeah, but I think Mars was supposed to be more blue than Earth, right? It was Earth, and Earth was kind of sort of like the unwanted stepchild, and then they had to go to Earth once they nuked Mars.
Who's
And
them?
the I don't know. I would assume it might be Anuna. Right? The Anuna seem incredibly aggressive, and the stories correlate with the Anuna. Alalu would probably inspire the same story as Uranus getting his balls cut off. Was probably the Alalu story, where Alalu is fighting Anu on Earth over ultimate kingship, not just kingship over Earth. And this was a much delayed fight. over and over, and they finally fight, I think, on Earth. And Anu wins the fight, and in retribution, Alalu bites his genitalia off. And I think this is what inspired the later Greek stories of Uranus losing his genitalia. And so Alalu's face is that face on Mars, because in the Sumerian tablets, Alalu gets exiled. He does not get killed. It's explained in the tablets that because he swallowed Anu's junk, he was going to die. So I don't know how that stuff works, but he was exiled to die on Mars, and in remembrance, his face, a monument was made of his face, and that face is still there today. So that's why I would reason that it might be the Anuna that nuked Mars.
Dude, you have just woken up some, like, I've been fearful of that my whole life, getting my junk bit at all. I don't even know what the straight up, but yeah.
But what if the swallowing of the penis has like a different alternate meaning, like genetic modification?
You have just, dude, woken up some,
Miss
like,
Kitty,
I've
you're
been
right. That book
fearful
was
of that
written
my
by
whole
this
life, been fearful of that.
John
That's what I
Brandenburg.
thought. That was
Cosmic
so
Jesus?
cool.
Straight up, but yeah.
Wow.
Straight up, but yeah.
Wait, it was written by John E. Brandenburg, our
Has like a
Brandenburg?
different alternate meaning, like has
Our
like a
Our
Brandenburg.
different alternate
Brandenburg
meaning,
wrote a
like
book called
genetic
Cosmic
modification.
Genius and never told us
Miss
this
Kitty,
whole
you're right.
time.
That book was written. Miss Kitty, you're right. He's wrote numerous
That's
ones.
what I thought.
He's got two right now that he's working with
Cosmic Jesus?
Hollywood to produce a film about.
Well, I need to know all about this Cosmic Jesus. Wow, I
Really,
have to come
Krista?
check in.
Wrote a book called Cosmic Genius and never told
Miss
us
Kitty,
this
you're
whole
right.
time.
He's wrote one about disclosure. I don't know if he's ever spoke about it on here. About how the black ops and everything going on with the secret UFO program is run by a covert, non-constitutional government, and then there's a battle that takes place in D.C. between the actual constitutional military and the black projects. That one I think he's actually working on now to make a film about. Secret UFO program, secret run by program, non-constitutional government.
Well, now we know what to ask him about. What did he do? Do you want one of us to check on Goose? Do you want? I don't want to add more cooks to the kitchen. Another, surgeon holding a scalpel. Do you want me to check on one of those two?
No, I think Goose is pretty good. Goose helped him out last time. His account was mass reported, and he had to reset everything, and he just reset it. So I don't know. He has to now go in and reset up everything for his microphone to work on his PC or not.
Right now he's doing two-factor authentication codes, and then his battery is getting drained on his cell phone. And then we're at the point where Goose is just format your hard drive on your computer. They're reinstalling Windows 95 right now, but we're gonna get there. I've been on that end with Brandon. He like everything gets
You haven't been like me. My first space guy, I'll tell you, it was phone to phone, two phones kissing. That was the only way I could get to work. That was my first space with Dr. Brandenburg. But we have. So now he can actually get on the app. So we have made some progress. But what do you think, Domer? What are we witnessing? Are these angels, demons, aliens? What interdimensional beings? What is your opinion?
Do I have permission to speak plainly?
We have Dr. Brandenburg, but we have plainly. You can go any direction you want. I don't care if you offend anyone on your book.
Remember last time we said that? I think we're experiencing nothing of high strangeness. We're experiencing COPE. COPE. Major motherfucking COPE. From both the spiritual and non-religious, from the atheists, and from the Christians. All right? There's nothing controversial about saying that aliens are angels and demons. I think they're angels and demons and more, right? That kind of sounds like some sort of entree at Applebee's. but I think we're dealing with angels and demons and more. And rather than, the us ufology people clutching our pearls at the semantic reductionism, I think, the Christians are actually the ones who are painting themselves in a corner here. And when I say the Christians, I mean the people who are reductionistically saying, like, it's angels and demons. Well, you should just embrace it, you ufology people, because that means the Bible is a book about aliens. As soon as you turn the tables on them, they're like, they're clutching their cosmic pearls. And this can't be the biggest intellectual leap, right? This is like, ontological shock foreplay. So if we're at the place and we're already clutching our pearls, that we have a bunch of religions that consistently talk about aliens, and the aliens we talk about are the angels and demons that are the aliens that the religions talk about. If we can't turn this corner, then we're cooked. We're cooked like a barbecued chicken cutlet on a Saturday block party run by black people. Like, we're cooked. Okay, we are in for so many bigger surprises, and we're just dealing with language and words. And one of the coolest people on dealing with this stuff is Timothy Alberino, where he's a devout Christian and he's not losing his ontological pearls, over the fact that, yeah, there's grays, there's physical grays, there's abductions, there's less physical beings. Nothing in the Bible is discounted. So, and then there's the seraphim, not the Nephilim, the seraphim, and all of these other things. Okay, they look like sentient plasma, right? And so we have all of these beings that we're experiencing now, that very well, maybe not all of them were represented. Maybe we don't have any mantid representations, but we have a lot of them represented here. And I'm sort of like, what's the big deal? Also, with this term extraterrestrial, right? The only reason I care whether Trump says extraterrestrial or non-human is because I want to make a lot of money on polymarket. I don't actually give a fuck for any other reason. So, the Christians who are like, call them interdimensional. Your Bible's not going to light itself on fire if you realize that beings that existed before the earth was created are by definition extraterrestrial. I think your religious conviction and your truth is going to remain undisturbed by the ET word. I sort of think we all need to get the fuck over this. But that's just me speaking aggressively and plainly. I understand why it's a big deal to people, but because I also know that there's so much more to integrate, I kind of feel like this is the lunchable snack of ontological shock, and we should be able to handle a lot more trauma. I sort of think we all need to get the fuck over this.
Interesting. But what do you think they are? You dodged the question.
Yeah. What do I think angels and demons are, or do I think? I think.
What do you think these eyes that people are experiencing are? Do you think they're extraterrestrial, interdimensional?
Well, you got to be specific with me, because we have different entities, right? We have grays, we have mantids, we have nordics, we have reptilians, we have essential plasma. Give me one, and I'll give you a clear answer.
What do you think the grays are?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What do you think these eyes are?
I don't know what the grays are in terms of direct correlate from the Bible, because they clearly use tech. They do have an interdimensional component. They've been seen as, like, a lot of the shadow people have been seen as actually being grays after some hologram tech. They clearly have a demonic aspect to them, because some people experience them as neutral affect, others experience pure terror. There's paintings. They do have, like, more religious paintings, some of which can look gray analogous, and some as hologram grays. They clearly have a demonic. They clearly have a demonic aspect. Some people experience them as neutral. Some people, others experience pure terror. Experience pure terror. They do have, like, more religious paintings, like, some of which can look gray. Some of which can look gray analogous. They clearly have a demonic. They clearly have a demonic. Some people experience.
I did joke around.
Others experience pure terror.
What if we go to Mars? Finally get to Mars and the tablets that say,
Some of which can look gray
Mars is dead.
analogous.
What if this is what it is?
Steve Quayle proposed that Rahab was a planet that's mentioned in the Bible that was destroyed. That's the Bode's Law and Roche's limit point to a planet that's missing, and its place is an asteroid field. And that when that was destroyed, it wiped out Venus, Mars, Moon, and the Earth. And this happened pre-Genesis 1.
I did discuss that in the space when we were talking about if there was some type of technologically advanced civilization that took Mars out with thermonuclear devices. What if there was a war between another planet and they attacked each other and that planet was completely destroyed and became an asteroid itself?
It's like Star Wars in reverse.
That's what a lot of people believe. I can't remember his name, but there's some astronomer who calculated the location of planets based on other planets that already we knew in our solar system, based on the size and the distance, the matter found in the asteroid belt, and where the asteroid belt is felt right where that other planet would have been calculated. So there's I think that asteroid belt is the debris of a planet that we just completely, ninja bladed. Whatever was done to it, I think that's that planet, right? Like the hilarity when people think humans are the most aggressive, intelligent species out here is that our entire solar system has trauma from warfare from another intelligent species. The color of Mars itself is the result of oxidation, right? So all the oxygen that used to be on Mars oxidized as a result of some thermonuclear process, giving it its rusty orange color. So, the only way you can interpret both missing oxygen and the color of Mars is a thermonuclear event, right? To be at that scale.
I just discovered something, and you are going to love this. Because it occurred to me that Dr. Brandenburg said this happened 220 million years ago. And I thought, well, that's measured up with Earth time. Maybe Mars has a different time. So I asked Grok to calculate what is a Mars year? And it's like 1.88 or something compared to Earth years. So I said, okay, so 220, well, billion, 220 billion Earth years would be how many Mars years? And it said 117 billion years.
Wait, explain
In
that
other
explain that
words,
logic to me again. And wasn't it million? Aren't we talking million? Or are you talking
oh, well,
because the
actually,
universe is only 13.8 billion years old. So Mars would have to be
I'm
a
sorry.
million
You're right. Million.
MFers.
Yeah, no, it was million.
You
So
you were trying to trick me, weren't you?
220 million Earth
Wait,
years
explain that.
equals only 117 million Mars years. So it's essentially like half. And that's interesting because that means that people on Mars have their distance from their own event is much shorter than ours from that event. And that's really interesting.
Well, also, I mean, I don't. My suspicion is that the hybridized part that is not from Earth is likely from another solar system. That's my suspicion.
You mean catch up
But
number 17?
say that again. Well, also, my suspicion is we're the hybridized part of us that's not from Earth is likely from another solar system. But we all know that we have back problems, and whatever planet that part of our genome hails from was likely one of lower gravitational pull or lower gravity. Mars's gravity is lower. So maybe there's something Martian about us. You know what I mean? Or maybe it was a different planet that wasn't Mars. Um, yeah, but I think Mars was supposed to be more blue than Earth, right? It was Earth, and Earth was kind of sort of like the unwanted stepchild, and then they had to go to Earth once they nuked Mars.
Who's
And
them?
I don't know. I would assume it might be Anuna, right? The Anuna seemed incredibly aggressive, and the stories correlate with the Anuna. Alalu would probably inspire the same story as Uranus getting his balls cut off. Was probably the Alalu story, where Alalu is fighting Anu on Earth over ultimate kingship, not just kingship over Earth. And this was a much delayed fight over and over, and they finally fight, I think, on Earth. And Anu wins the fight, and in retribution, Alalu bites his genitalia off. I think this is what inspired the later Greek stories of Uranus losing his genitalia. And so Alalu's face is that face on Mars, because in the Sumerian tablets, Alalu gets exiled. He does not get killed. It's explained in the tablets that because he swallowed Anu's junk, he was going to die. So I don't know how that stuff works, but he was exiled to die on Mars, and in remembrance, his face, a monument was made of his face, and that face is still there today. So that's why I would reason that it might be the Anuna that nuked Mars.
Dude, you have just woken up some, like, I've been fearful of that my whole life, getting my junk bit at all. I don't even know what the straight up, but yeah.
But what if the swallowing of the penis has like a different alternate meaning, like genetic modification?
You have just woken up some,
Miss
like,
Kitty,
I've
you're
been
right. That book
fearful
was
of that,
written
like,
by
my whole
this
life, fearful of that.
John
That's what I
Brandenburg.
thought. That was
Cosmic
so cool.
Jesus? Wow.
But what
Wait,
if
it was written by
the
John E.
swallowing of the
Brandenburg,
penis, the swallowing of
our
the penis has a
Brandenburg.
different meaning, like
Our
Our
genetic
Brandenburg.
Brandenburg
modification,
wrote a
like
book called
genetic
Cosmic Genius
modification?
and never told us
Miss
this
Kitty,
whole
you're right.
time.
That book was written. Miss Kitty, you're right. He's wrote numerous
That's what
ones.
I thought.
He's got two right
That's
now
what I
that
thought.
he's working with
Cosmic Jesus.
Hollywood
Wait, it was
to
written by
produce a film about.
it was
Well, I
written
need
by
to know all about this Cosmic Jesus. Our
It's
Brandenburg?
a
Wow, I
really
have
good
to
book.
check in. Cosmic Genius and never told us this whole time.
Yeah, he's wrote one about disclosure. I don't know if he's ever spoke about it on here. About how the black ops that are going on with the secret UFO program is run by a covert, non-constitutional government, and then there's a battle that takes place in D.C. between the actual constitutional military and the black projects. That one I think he's actually working on now to make a film about.
Well, now we know what to ask him about. What did he do you want one of us to check on Goose? Do you want I don't want to add more cooks to the kitchen, another surgeon holding a scalpel. Do you want me to check on one of those two?
No, I think Goose is pretty
Now we
good.
know what to ask him about.
Goose
Now we know what to
helped
ask
him
him
out
about.
last time.
What did he
His account was mass reported, and he had to reset everything, and he just reset it. So I don't know. He has to now go in and reset up everything for his microphone to work on his PC or not.
He right now he's doing two-factor authentication codes, and then his battery's getting drained on his cell phone, and then we're at the point where Goose is just format your hard drive on your computer. They're reinstalling Windows 95 right now, but we're gonna get there. I've been on that end with Brandon. Like everything gets
You haven't been like me. My first space guy, I'll tell you, it was phone to phone. Two phones kissing. That was the only way I could get to work. That was my first base with Dr.
I
Brandenburg.
remember
But
that.
we have to now he can actually get on the app. So we have made some progress. But what do you think, Domer? What are we witnessing? Are these angels, demons, aliens? What interdimensional beings? What is your
I mean, is it? Do I have permission to speak plainly?
we have plainly, you can go any direction you want. I don't care if you offend anyone on your.
Remember last time we said that? I think we're experiencing nothing of high strangeness. We're experiencing cope, COPD, major motherfucking cope from both the the spiritual and non-religious, from the atheists, and from the Christians. All right. There's nothing controversial about saying that aliens are angels and demons. I think they're angels and demons and more. Right. I mean, that kind of sounds like some sort of entree at Applebee's. But I think we're dealing with angels and demons and more. And rather than the us ufology people clutching our pearls at the semantic reductionism, I think the Christians are actually the ones who are painting themselves in a corner here. And when I say the Christians, I mean the people who are reductionistically saying like it's angels and demons. Well, you should just embrace it, you ufology people, because that means the Bible is a book about aliens. And as soon as you turn the tables on them, they're like they're clutching the cosmic pearls. And this can't be the big intellectual leap, right? This is like ontological shock foreplay. So if we're at the place and we're already clutching our pearls, that we have a bunch of religions that consistently talk about aliens, and the aliens we talk about are the angels and demons that are the aliens that the religions talk about. If we can't turn this corner, then we're cooked. We're cooked like a barbecued chicken cutlet on a Saturday block party run by black people. Like we're cooked. Okay, we are in for so many bigger surprises, and we're just dealing with language and words. And one of the coolest people on dealing with this stuff is Timothy Alvarino, where he's a devout Christian and he's not losing his ontological pearls, over the fact that there's grays, there's physical grays, there's abductions, there's less physical beings. Nothing in the Bible is discounted. So, and then there's the seraphim, not the Nephilim, the seraphim, and all of these other things. Okay, they look like sentient plasma, right? And so we have all of these beings that we're experiencing now. That very well, maybe not all of them were represented, meaning we don't have any mantid representation, but we have a lot of them represented here. And I'm sort of like, what's the big deal? Also with this term extraterrestrial, right? The only reason I care whether Trump says extraterrestrial or non-human is because I want to make a lot of money on polymarket. I don't actually give a fuck for any other reason. So, the Christians who are like, call them interdimensional. Your Bible's not going to light itself on fire if you realize that beings that existed before the earth was created are by definition extraterrestrial. I think your religious conviction and your truth is going to remain undisturbed by the ET word. I sort of think we all need to get the fuck over this. But that's just me speaking aggressively and plainly. I understand why it's a big deal to people, but because I also know that there's so much more to integrate, I kind of feel like this is the lunchable snack of ontological shock, and we should be able to handle a lot more.
Interesting. But what do you think they are? You dodged the question.
Yeah. What do I think angels and demons are, or do I think? I think.
What do you think these eyes that people are experiencing are? Do you think they're extraterrestrial, interdimensional?
Well, you got to be specific with me because we have different entities, right? We have grays, we have mantids, we have cortex, we have reptilians, we have sentient plasma. Give me one, and I'll give you a clear answer.
What do you think of grays?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What do you think
I don't know what the grays are in terms of direct correlate because they clearly use tech. They do have an interdimensional component. They've been seen as like a lot of the shadow people have been seen as actually being grays after some hologram tech. They clearly have a demonic aspect to them because some people experience them as a neutral affect, others experience pure terror. There's paintings, like more religious paintings, some of which can look gray analogous, and they clearly have a demonic. They clearly have a demonic. Some people experience pure terror. More religious paintings, some of which look gray, some of which look gray analogous. They clearly have a demonic.
Rahab was a planet that's mentioned in the Bible that was destroyed. That's the Bode's Law and Rosh's limit point to a planet that's missing, and its place is an asteroid field. And then when that was destroyed, it wiped out Venus, Mars, Moon, and Earth. And this happened pre-Genesis 1.
Didn't seem to say the space when we were talking about if there was some type of a lot of cases advanced civilization that took Mars out with thermonuclear devices. What if there was a war between another planet and they attacked each other and that planet was completely destroyed and became an asteroid belt?
It's like Star
Yeah,
Wars in reverse.
And
that's what a lot of people believe. I can't remember his name, but there's some astronomer who calculated the location of planets based on other planets that already we knew in our solar system, based on the signs and the distance, the matter found in the asteroid belt, and where the asteroid belt is felt right where that other planet would have been calculated.
Bode's
So
Law.
there's I think that asteroid belt is the debris of a planet that we just completely, ninja bladed. Whatever was done to it, I think that's that planet there, right? Like the polarity when people think humans are the most aggressive, intelligent species out here is that our entire solar system has trauma from warfare from another intelligent species. The color of Mars itself is the result of oxidation, right? So all the oxygen that used to be on Mars oxidized as a result of some thermonuclear process, giving it its rusty orange color. So, the only way you can interpret both the missing oxygen and the color of Mars is a thermonuclear event, right? To be at that scale.
I just discovered something, and you are going to love this. Because it occurred to me that Dr. Brandenburg said this happened 220 million years ago. And I thought, well, that's measured with Earth time. Maybe Mars has a different time. So I asked Grok to calculate what is a Mars year? And it's like 1.88 or something compared to Earth years. So I said, okay, so 220 billion Earth years would be how many Mars years? And it said 117 billion years.
Wait, explain
In
that
other
explain that
words,
logic to me again. And wasn't it million? Aren't we talking million, or are you
oh,
talking
well,
because the
actually,
universe is only 13.8 billion years old. So Mars would have to be
I'm sorry. You're right.
million. I remember.
Yeah. Oh, it was a million.
Right?
So
You were trying to trick me, weren't you?
220 million Earth years equals only 117 million Mars years. So it's essentially like half. And that's interesting because that means that people on Mars have their distance from their own event is much shorter than ours from that event. And that's really interesting.
Well, also, I mean, I don't. My suspicion is that the hybridized part that is not from Earth is likely from another solar system. That's my suspicion.
Didn't you catch that
But
number 17?
say that again. My suspicion is that the hybridized part of us that's not from Earth is likely from another solar system. But we all know that we have back problems, and whatever planet that part of our genome hailed from was likely one of lower gravitational pull or lower gravity. Mars's gravity is lower. So maybe there's something Martian about us. You know what I mean? Or maybe it was a different planet that wasn't Mars. Yeah, but I think Mars was supposed to be more blue than Earth, right? It was Earth, and Earth was kind of sort of like the unwanted stepchild, and then they had to go to Earth once they nuked Mars.
Who's
And
them?
I don't know. I seem incredibly aggressive. In the stories core with the Anunnaki, Alalu would probably inspire the same story as Uranus getting his balls cut off. Was probably the Alalu story, where Alalu is fighting Anu on Earth over ultimate kingship, not just kingship over Earth. And this was a much delayed fight over and over, and they finally fight, I think, on Earth. And Anu wins the fight, and in retribution, Alalu bites his genitalia off. I think this is what inspired the later Greek stories of Uranus losing his genitalia. And so Alalu's face is that face on Mars, because in the Sumerian tablets, Alalu gets exiled. He does not get killed. It's explained in the tablets that because he swallowed Anu's junk, he was going to die. So I don't know how that stuff works, but he was exiled to die on Mars, and in remembrance, his face, a monument was made of his face, and that face is still there today. So that's why we reason that it might be the Anuna that nuked Mars.
Dude, you have just woken up some, like, I've been fearful of that my whole life, getting my junk bit at all. I don't even know what the straight up, but yeah.
But what if the swallowing of the penis has like a different alternate meaning, like genetic modification?
Miss Kitty, you're right. That book was written by this John
That's what I
Brandenburg.
thought. That was
Cosmic
so
Jesus?
cool.
Wow.
Wait, it was written by John E. Brandenburg, our Brandenburg.
This is our
Our
Brandenburg.
Brandenburg wrote a book called Cosmic Genius and never told us this whole time.
He's wrote numerous ones. He's got two right now that he's working with Hollywood to produce a film about.
Well, I need to know all about this Cosmic Jesus. Wow, I
Really
have
good
to
book.
start in.
Yeah, he's wrote one about disclosure. I don't know if he's ever spoke about it on here. About how the Black Ops secret UFO program is run by a covert, non-constitutional government, and then there's a battle that takes place in D.C. between the actual constitutional military and the Black Projects. That one I think he's actually working on now to make a film about.
Well, now we know what to ask him about. What did he do? Do you want one of us to check on Goose? Do you want? I don't want to add more cooks to the kitchen. Another, surgeon holding a scalpel. Do you want me to check on one of those two?
No, I think Goose is pretty good. Goose helped him out last time. His account was last reported, and he had to reset everything, and he just reset it. So I don't know if he has to now go in and reset up everything for his microphone to work on his PC or not.
Right now he's doing two-factor authentication codes, and then his battery's getting drained on his cell phone. And then we're at the point where Goose is just format your hard drive on your computer. They're reinstalling Windows 95 right now, but we're gonna get there. I've been on that end line, like everything gets.
You haven't been like me. My first space guy, I'll tell you, it was phone to phone. Two phones kissing. That was the only way I could get to work. That was my first base with Dr. Brandenburg. But we have now he can actually get on the app. So we have made some progress. But what do you think, Domer? What are we witnessing? Are these angels, demons, aliens? What interdimensional beings? What is your?
I mean, do I have permission to speak plainly?
Plainly, you can go any direction you want. I don't care if you offend anyone on your.
Remember last time you said that? I think we're experiencing nothing of high stakes. We're experiencing code, COPE, major motherfucking code from both the spiritual and non-religious, from the atheists, and from the Christians. All right. There's nothing controversial about saying that I think they're angels and demons and more, right? I mean, that kind of sounds like some sort of entree at Applebee's. But I think we're dealing with angels and demons and more. And rather than, the us ufology people clutching our pearls at the semantic reductionism, the Christians are actually the ones who are painting themselves in a corner. And when I say the Christians, I mean the people who are reductionistically saying like, it's angels and demons. Well, you should just embrace it, you ufology people, because that means the Bible is a book about angels. And as soon as you turn the tables on them, they're like, they're clutching the cosmic pearls. And it can't be the mixed intellectual elite, right? This is like, ontological shock foreplay. So if we're at the place and we're already clutching our pearls, that we have a bunch of religions that consistently talk about aliens, and the aliens we talk about are the angels and demons that are the aliens that the religions talk about. If we can't turn this corner, then we're cooked. We're cooked like a barbecue chicken cutlet on a Saturday block party run by black people. Like, we're cooked. Okay, we are in for so many bigger surprises, and we're just dealing with language and words. And one of the coolest people on dealing with this stuff is Timothy Alberino, where he's a devout Christian, and he's not losing his ontological pearls, over the fact that, yeah, there's grays, there's physical grays, there's abductions, there's less physical beings. Nothing in the Bible is discounted. So, and then there's the seraphim, not the Nephilim, the seraphim, and all of these other things. Okay, they look like sentient plasma, right? And so we have all of these beings that we're experiencing now, that very well, maybe not all of them were represented. Maybe we don't have any manted representations, but we have a lot of them represented here. And I'm sort of like, what's the big deal? Also with this term extraterrestrial, right? The only reason I care whether Trump says extraterrestrial or non-human is because I want to make a lot of money on polymarket. I don't actually give a fuck for any other reason. So, the Christians who are like, call it interdimensional. Your Bible's not going to light itself on fire if you realize that beings that existed before the earth was created are by definition extraterrestrial. I think your religious conviction and your truth is going to remain undisturbed by the ET word. I sort of think we all need to get the fuck over this. But that's just me speaking aggressively and plainly. I understand why it's a big deal to people, but because I also know that there's so much more to integrate, I kind of feel like this is the lunchable snack of ontological shock, and we should be able to handle a lot more.
Interesting. But what do you think they are? You dodged the question.
Yeah. What do I think angels and demons are, or do I think? I think.
What do you think these eyes that people are experiencing are? Do you think they're extraterrestrial, interdimensional?
Well, you got to be specific with me, because we have different entities, right? We have grays, we have mantids, we have cortex, we have reptilians, we have sentient plasma. Give me one, and I'll give you a clear answer.
What do you think of grays?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What do you think?
I don't know what the grays are in terms of direct correlate from the Bible, because they clearly use tech. They do have an interdimensional component. They've been seen as, like, a lot of the shadow people have been seen as actually being grays after some hologram tech. They clearly have a demonic aspect to them, because some people experience them as a neutral affect, others experience pure terror. There's paintings, like more religious paintings, some of which can look gray analogous, and they could have a demonic, some of which gray
But what if the swallowing of the penis has like a different alternate meaning, like genetic modification?
Miss Kitty, you're right. That book was written by Miss John
That's what I
Brandenburg.
thought. That was
Cosmic
so
Jesus?
cool.
Wow.
Wait, it was written by John E. Brandenburg?
Howard Brandenburg or other
Howard
Brandenburg?
Brandenburg wrote a book called Cosmic Jesus and never told us this whole time?
He's wrote numerous books. He's got two right now that he's working with. I'll
donut of plasma. They couldn't get a plasma to form a nice donut. So what they did is they used the CMTX idea of the colliding microtorus. They fire two smoke rings of plasma together from different ends of the machine. And they run into each other. They get really hot, and they form this spinning donut. And so what they did with TAE is they adopted that, and they got it to work. So then they started getting really good results, whereas before they were having a lot of trouble. But Helion, in the meantime, is being supported by Thiel and Altman. And their experiment is very similar to, well, let's just say there are a lot of points of contact between the Helion and the Texatron, which is the experiment that we're doing. Our experiment is called the Texatron by American Fusion. So I guess I'm saying that I've actually been very fortunate to work on all these different fusion experiments, but you know, other people who are better at raising money. Oh, well, NASA told me they wanted to give me more money to keep doing the experiment, but they told me I'd have to move to Huntsville, Alabama to continue the experiments. I was living in Washington, D.C. And my then wife, who was Asian American and was plugged into the Asian American community in Washington, D.C., says, I'm not moving to Huntsville. You know, she called it, you know, Cracker City and all of this stuff. So she said, if you move there, you're moving with me, without me and the kids, you know. So I couldn't take the NASA money. And so other people picked up on the success of the CMTX and made it into $2 billion companies. And I'm very happy. I believe they'll work. They won't work as well as our experiment, but they'll work.
Well, now we know you have something in common with Elon Musk, and that is getting ripped off by Sam Altman, huh?
Yes. Well, I don't blame Altman, you know, for, I mean, I blame the people in charge of Helion that, you know, I actually asked them applied to them for a job later and said, you know, I was the guy who did the CMTX experiment. And they never even replied to my email. They wouldn't answer my phone. And it's just like, oh, Brandenburg, who's he? We've never heard of him. Nah, it's okay. Hey,
No respect. No respect.
laughs best. And I'm going to get, God willing, I'm going to get the last laugh in this. But I want everybody's idea to succeed. There. I want everyone's idea to succeed. I want everyone to harness fusion.
Are you going to open source it and kind of get the?
That's all.
You're going to get the community involved and open source it and get it out there. You know, like I know Stephen Greer's talked about that type of thing out there. Is anybody actually talking about that?
No, they're not. This is, you know, this has become a situation where there's the gleam of a lot of gold to be made to anybody who can harness fusion first. And that's good. I think it should be a race. That gets everybody moving faster, doesn't it? Declare a race. And that makes everybody work harder. I mean, if you want to know the example of how not to do a fusion experiment, look at the ITER experiment. They've been working on that since 1990, and they say they won't even make a plasma in it until 2030. That thing is going to last longer than the UFO cover-up. the UFO cover-up will be over by the time they finish that. And it's being done by committee, all open source and everything, and it's a joke. It's a thing for governments to say, yeah, we're working on fusion. So there. Look at what money we're putting into the eater. As it turns out, it's so anyway. Here, enough of my complaining. Hey, I just got to get to work, and in fact, it's getting a little late. I'm gonna have to. I have time for 2 more questions.
We got one more down below. I was going to mention it to you, Doctor. I figured it was going to get late.
Yeah.
Truly appreciate you spending this much time with us.
You.
But go ahead, Carmine.
It is an honor and a pleasure to be on your show. It really is. I think you're really helping all of us.
Thank you so much. No, I appreciate you. You're very nice. You treat everybody with respect, and you give us a lot of information that you can't get normally. Go ahead, Carmine, if you're still there.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Thank you for the microphone. Thank you. It's an honor to be in your space.
All right, Carmine. Yes.
Dr. John, I've got 2 questions. One is, are you familiar with the work of Victor Schauberger and his invention, the repulsine? And the second question is, what exactly is gravity? Not what does gravity do, but what exactly is gravity?
Oh, okay. Schauberger, I believe that he was a scientist active in the Third Reich, and then he had a UFO shooter downer machine that he showed the government. Is that him?
He was a park warden and a hydrological engineer, and he invented the repulsine, which was like a flying bell type craft.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not that familiar with him, unfortunately. Did he have any connection with the Nazi Bell experiments?
More than likely.
Okay, well, actually, I if it's the same Schauberger, if I'm getting his name right, he survived the war, and a lot of the scientists who worked on the Nazi Bell experiment were taken out by the SS commander who was in charge of the project. He had them write their final reports, turn them into him, and then had them all taken out and shot so that only he would know the secrets. And he could trade that to American forces for a plane ticket to Argentina. That's the story I heard. So
I've never heard that one until today.
What's that?
Considering Victor Schauberger, I've never heard that allegation about Schauberger until now.
Well, no. Schauberger was not involved. I think he was on the periphery of all of that. So he managed to escape the massacre of the scientists. It was Hans Kammler was the SS commander.
Thank you. Okay, about the gravity
Hans
question.
Kammler was the real villain of the piece. Schauberger, I think, was perhaps on the outskirts of that program, and that's one reason he survived, because he.
Fine. Thank you for that. Okay, the gravity part now, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So he would. That's the same thing that made. I'm getting tired. Who's the guy?
That's okay, my friend.
It's Werner von Braun. Werner von Braun.
Right.
Was afraid his people were going to end up the same way, that the SS were going to massacre everybody who knew anything about the V2 program. So he managed to get his people to Western Germany, away from Eastern Germany, where Hans Kammler was running things. And he managed to get those people in contact with the U.S. Army, and they surrendered to the U.S. Army. That's how we got Werner von Braun. And but Schauberger, my understanding was he offered his services to the U.S. government, and they basically picked his brain and then let him go back to Germany. That's all about, that's the story I heard about Schallberger, but I could be wrong. So yes, okay. What now? Your next question is, what is gravity?
Not what gravity does, because we keep hearing
what
it
it is.
does.
What is it?
Is
okay.
Gravity. Thank you.
Gravity is a pattern of electric and magnetic fields in a microstructure in space that create what's called an E cross B drift field. That E cross B drift is like two plates at different voltages, so you have electric field between them and a magnetic field coming out parallel to the surface of the plates. If you drop any charged particle in there, any mass, they'll all end up moving in the same direction at the same velocity. Then if you tilt the two plates to each other so the electric field is stronger near the bottom of the plates than it is at the top, the particles all accelerate with a acceleration that looks just like gravity, because it affects all the particles the same. So what it is in the, the quantum 0-point energy, you're familiar with that, right?
Quite. Please continue. You haven't explained what exactly
So
gravity is, because you're explaining in terms of electric fields, sir. You're explaining in terms of electric fields, but what is gravity?
Oh, gravity is a combination of a microstructure of gravity and magnetic fields in space in a kind of crystalline arrangement. And that's what creates gravity. And the electric and magnetic fields come from the 0-point energy, the quantum turbulence present in space-time. It organizes it organizes itself to form this arrangement that accelerates particles. So that's gravity. It's a microstructure. It's like looking at something you think is a continuous sheet, but no, you look closely, it's actually a tightly woven cloth with little crossed threads. And the different threads are magnetism, electricity, magnetism, electricity, magnetism, electricity. And that pushes the particles towards a place of stronger electric field. The magnetic field is uniform, but the electric field gets stronger, and they get pulled in, and that's what gravity is, according to the GEM unification theory. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now you know what gravity is.
It must be my shortcoming, because that doesn't explain what gravity is. It's probably not a fair question to ask anyone, because no one to date has been able to identify a carrier for what we call gravity.
Well,
whatsoever.
it's like, what's an electric field? It's a thing that pushes charged particles. And then what's a magnetic field? Well, it's their lines of force, and the particles whiz around and they orbit in circles around the lines of force. So that's all of these things are based just on observation. We have things that do this and that. We have magnets. They stick your kids' report cards to the refrigerator, and then you have electric fields. Those when you pull stuff out of the dryer, if you didn't use fabric softener, you get all the static electricity. We know what that looks like. We know what magnets look like.
Yep.
Gravity is a bunch of little tiny structures of magnets, consisting of a combination of magnets and electric fields.
Then I guess we don't need gravity.
At least that is my theory. There.
Thank you. I'm still
By the way,
not. I have no idea what gravity is to this day. Your answer,
I'll
unfortunately,
tell you.
hasn't clarified what it actually is. But thank you.
I'll tell you another way you can explain gravity, sort of like in a similar way. That's physics. The physics is the same, but it's just a different example. You have two bright objects in a dark box. You're up in outer space. It's weightless. The two bright objects push each other apart because of every light particle of light, a photon, has the same crossed electric and magnetic field arrangement. And that carries what's called Poynting vector, named after God. God has a sense of humor because he named this guy Poynting, and the vector that he invented points in the direction of the radiation pressure. So if you have two bright objects in a dark box, the mutual radiation pressure from both of them push each other apart. Now, if you take the box they're in and heat it to white heat, so it's a bright box, and you put two dark objects in there, like just balls of carbon, they'll attract one another with a 1 over r squared force, just like gravity. And it's due to the mutual shadowing of the so that's what light is like. Gravity is like light. It's like infrared light. You can't see it, but it's there, and it exerts a force. So there. That's the best I can give you from my theory.
Can I try?
Thank you so much, John.
And then your next question should be, what came before the Big Bang? And I say, I don't know.
I thought you were going to say the chicken or the egg. But I just want to say, I know you're getting tired, and is doing something that it only does, John, when I have you on the space, and it makes a weird sound, and I've never heard.
It's like we're filling up a buffer. But it's gotten late, and I really better stop talking and make some dinner, and then pass myself.
Matt, I have a truly short question that picks up. I have a short question that picks up from where Conrad left off. Is that okay?
Sure. Short question. One short question.
Dr. B, in high school physics, we're taught a conception of gravity that is based on attraction of masses. And we're told that even on Earth, if I was standing next to Mav, his mass would be slightly attracted to my mass would be slightly attracted to his mass. No homo. And that this subtle attraction is just too difficult to measure. But doesn't your interpretation or mathematics of extended electrodynamics leave open the possibility that that is actually not true, that there's a gravitational pull from Earth that has mainly electromagnetic and magnetic components to produce this field upon mass, but not necessarily mass on mass, devoid of any electromagnetism or magnetic fields? Is that a possibility? Let me know if I need to make my question more specific.
No. I have actually.
Do we still think that mass alone attracts mass without a deeper electromagnetic interaction?
Oh, you're right. There is a deep electromagnetic reaction because all mass is ultimately based on. You could come up with a model of mass that is all electromagnetic, in the protons and the neutrons and everything like that. They're all.
But aren't our largest cosmic bodies deeply ferrous or have extreme magnetic and electromagnetic proportions? Our Earth has a giant ferrous component in the outer core, in the mantle, and the inner core. The stars as well. All of the CMEs and solar flares are a result of magnetic reconnection. Are we really
I know
certain?
it's the sun is absolutely a solar dynamo all the time. It's part of the fusion energy that's being created is going to just drive all of this activity on the sun. Dynamos of plasmas in donut shapes and vortices and
Yeah, so I mean I understand all of matter has an electromagnetic component, but not
just
all
drive
mass has a
all of this
magnetic component.
activity
So how do we
on
know
the
that
sun.
gravity doesn't require a magnetic component?
Dynamos. Well, now, actually, all of the electrons, all of the protons, and even all of the neutrons have magnetic fields embedded in them. The electrons spin and make a little magnetic field, and the protons do the same thing. The quarks, spinning around in a triangle, they actually create a little magnetic field. And then what's really amazing is the neutron, even though it's neutral, still makes a magnetic field. So among the fundamental particles of nature, the neutron, the proton, and the electron, which make up of matter that, everyday matter, and which, if all the stuff they make at CERN, they collide all of these atoms with each other, or particles with each other, they all end up becoming protons, electrons, and neutrons. And so these things all have magnetic fields. So you could actually say that magnetism is a more fundamental quantity of matter than electric charge.
Okay, that's
Something
totally
to think
fair.
about.
That's totally fair. But I guess what I'm asking is, if we had a
By the
large
way,
planetary,
I want you to notice something quite incredible about the universe. The most stable of all of the elements that the stars create is iron. And what is also the most magnetic element?
iron.
Iron. I mean, as soon as people were able to make swords out of iron, they noticed that these rocks in a place called Magnesia in Asia Minor, it was like modern day Turkey. There was this kingdom called Magnesia, and it was known for a lot of lightning strikes, and the lightning strikes would strike the soil and melt the rocks and turn them into magnets called lodestones. And that's how they discovered magnetism. The ancient Greeks.
So Dr. B,
so you had these iron swords, and they would stick to these rocks. And
so Dr. B, that's kind of why I'm asking this question. Are you confident that if we had large planets whose elements, I get that every element has a magnetic component, but classically on the periodic table, only elements that I think have like parallel spinning electrons in their orbitals, right? If we had a large planet that did not have any magnetic elements, creating the bulk of its mass, are you confident it would still exert the gravity according to the mass alone, that would be enough?
I'm trying to think of where we could find such a planet, because all the planets are composed of a mishmash of elements, and
right.
Some of them are all magnetic.
Some of them are, and so it's kind of a justified question.
The most stable element, the top of the hill, is iron, and that's everywhere. Even in the core of Jupiter has iron in it, and but
so
it also has
it's possible. But it's possible that we're getting this mass idea kind of wrong. That if we have a large planet that doesn't have a classically magnetic element, creating its mass, who knows? Like maybe those planets don't exist because there isn't enough magnetic component to cohere and even have a planet like that. It seems wildly coincidental to me.
That is a very interesting question, and all of the planets. Well, at least I'm trying to think of, is there any planet without a magnetic field? Well,
I mean,
the
yeah,
problem
Venus
is
has.
the solar wind is whipping by all of these planets, like Mercury. Okay,
Yeah,
Mercury
Venus
doesn't.
doesn't have a classic magnetosphere. It has one from its ionosphere. So Venus might be a good example, right? But I don't know what Venus
Yeah,
really
well,
consists of.
but it doesn't have any spin either. It spins very slowly. So it's a very good question. I wish I could answer it for you. That's a question from left field.
Well, those are the only questions I give you,
From
Dr.
left
B.
field
Thank you
are
for
what
indulging
drive
me.
physics eventually.
Yeah, thank you for indulging me, Dr. B.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Well, anyway, so I better leave you guys at this point. Thank you so much, Mav, for having me on board, and your guests have just been fascinating with their questions.
Well, John,
it's been fascinating discussions with them. So you guys keep thinking.
Your time.
Keep watching.
Yeah,
And beware
John,
of shocking truth.
I appreciate your
shocking
kindness,
truths will come out.
your pick and
like
your truth.
Shocking
Joining
truths
the show.
like the avocado and the banana are both berries. That's a shocking truth I discovered recently. Anyway, okay, you guys, I better let you go now. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
You too.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. B.
Thanks, Dr. B.
Thank you.
I appreciate you, John.
All right, thank you.
And your
Hey, Dr. Brandenburg, I think you can't hear Mav. I think I just want you to know he's telling you he appreciates your kindness and your generosity and for answering all the questions.
I can hear you still. I'm trying to.
Oh, you.
Press leave on top to the right.
There we go. I dropped them down. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us here tonight. I just again, big shout out. I thought maybe I was rugging, but I just like to say a big thank you to John. I know he left the space, but he's always very kind. He takes his time to explain everything in detail. And I had him on probably about 5 times. Just an all around great guy and always providing excellent information. So I just want to give a big shout out to him. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Space Night. Doomer, thanks for jumping up to co host to help Goose out. Appreciate that. And everyone who came up to speak, I appreciate you all. I might have another guest this week. It might not be science related, it might be a little political J6 type spin. But when you guys see who the guest is, I think you'll enjoy the topic for tonight. I'm just waiting on a date and confirmation, but I think you'll all be very interested. He is a little bit famous for January 6th. I'll just leave it like that. So we'll be able to ask him some questions and how he's kind of changed things politically. I notice now, like he's not as full MAGA as he was back in 2020. So we'll see what's gone on with that. But stay tuned. We're live every day, 7 days a week at 7 p.m. You never know what the topics will be. I like to bring in guests. Doomer Space, also awesome. I've been working with Doomer. We're trying to put together even better spaces and production for everyone who's interested in these topics. But thank you, Goose, for co-hosting. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, Mav. Thank you for putting on these awesome spaces, Mav. And you should just tell people there's a war. There's a fucking war for the UFO microphone, and we need to make sure we don't lose it. So everybody should be supporting everybody in the UFO spaces and helping each other branch out, especially people whose topic or content or coverage you disagree with. We don't want people who know nothing about the subject to just steal the microphone from us and for us to lose our voices. So I think we all need to professionalize a bit. So that's what Mav means. We're trying to make sure that that we get loud and we stay loud.
And open. There's no one who's not allowed on my space. There's no one who's not allowed up to speak.
regardless of how you feel about the topic, regardless of what your experiences are, as long as it doesn't get nasty. If it gets nasty, then I'll remove you. But as long as it's just a conversation and that's fine. But I'm open
You even let me
to everything.
speak, Mav. You even let me on your stage.
Yeah, I even let the doomer on because I'm gonna tell you, I don't know shit. And if anyone tells you they know exactly what's going on, they're lying to you. So
I know
keep
exactly
it.
what the fuck is going on.
Don't paint yourself in a corner. You pick a side right now in the middle of disclosure, you're going to be stuck in it. And then when something else comes out that conflicts, like Doomer was in the DMs, human beings on Mars 200 million years ago, uh, that raises a lot of questions, right? That can definitely throw a little bit of a mix in if that comes out and it's true about religion, right? If we were all from Earth and then we find out there were humans on Mars 200 years ago, and as Doomer said, that was like what, Doomer, 140 million years where the dinosaurs were.
Well, yeah. If 200 million, and remember these are rough numbers, but 200 million would put you smack dab in the middle of when the dinosaurs were like, dinosaurs going wild, right? Like so, if who knows if the people on Mars, they took a trip and like, let's go over and see the dinosaurs, and they ride a couple raptors, right? But that's wild. If there was, and there's no way to know, from my understanding, there's no way to know that what looked like a human was a human unless they had some DNA preserved for 200 million years, which I think is close to impossible. There was human looking something, so it could have been Nordics, it could have been anything. And if it was Nordics or an NHI, obviously that doesn't upend the biblical story, but it upends many stories. If there was our version of human or something else, and there's deep implications. What if we were that other alien that lost a war with something else that looked human as well, right? Like just that stat alone raises a lot of questions.
That's true. Or Earth was actually the real Jurassic World. Let that sink in. But thank you everybody for joining us here tonight. Always interesting to have John on. I think he gave us some groundbreaking things like humanoids. I mean, I know he talked about human-like, but never like human. Actually, he never said human. He said human, like some type of humanoid or like an older species. But wow, confirming that, yeah, astronauts do carry weapons in space. Um, yeah, that's a little
That was mind
crazy. And
blowing.
the fact Clementine mission, he confirmed that there were artificial structures on the far side of the moon. Mind blown once again. So yeah, you heard it here first. Definitely some groundbreaking stuff. So thank you for joining. And a big shout again to my two co-hosts now. My other co-host dropped off, Pop and Guy. I know Guy's been having issues with his, but thank you, Goose and Doomer, for jumping up to help me out. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you tomorrow or in another space later on tonight. Dojo Dogs, we can go jump in the rib space. I think he starts now, but it's not pinned.